Magandang umaga po sa lahat po ng miyembro ng CA, Madam Secretary. Ako po si Manny Galvez. Ako po ang managing partner po ng Airboard at miyembro po ng Coalition for Clean Air Advocates na kung saan po ang UFCC o United Filipino Consumers and Commuters is a member of. Okay, I'd like to be very brief for our presentation. One, we actually made a presentation to the Secretary in August 2 of 2017. It's just unfortunate that while we were watching the nice presentation with the Secretary about mining, environment was never mentioned in the program. We are concerned with the environment. When the environment, we talk about the environmental management. Okay, there is the EMB, there is the FMB, there is also the water. Unfortunately, none of the programs that were presented before the CA was ever mentioned. Particularly, we're very concerned about air quality monitoring in this country. If I may say so, since 2003, when the first set of air quality monitoring stations were bought, okay, to the tune of about ₱500 million pesos, and until now, it's almost ₱1 billion pesos that have been spent for air quality monitoring. None of these monitoring stations actually worked. None of them. But EMD, Air Quality Management Section, had been producing, we allege, that they're actually manufacturing data about air quality. Marami pong namamatay po sa upper respiratory problem sa bansa po natin. Hindi po natin alam kung ano tumatama sa atin, kung ano tumatama sa baga natin. And it's incumbent upon the DENR, primarily the Environmental Management Bureau, para sabihin sa publiko, ano po ba ang tunay na datos para po sa air quality. Hindi lang po about mining. Ang dami po namamatay. Ang dami po naghihirap dahil po sa air quality monitoring na hindi gumagana. I understand from the Secretary, he gave instructions to so many of our people to actually conduct investigations. But since August 2 of 2016, none of these investigations had provided any result. Not one. Walang bumalik. Ilang beses po kami sumulat kay Secretary pertaining the same, actually complaining. In fact, ang problema po, I think she's being misled by her own people. And sabi niya po si national media one time that all these monitoring stations need is calibration. Nagpapaandar po sila ng mga makina na hindi po na-calibrate ni minsan. Nung in-install po dito, nagkakahalaga po yan ng halos ₱1 billion na. Ang nangyayari po dito, pinagtataguan na nila, pinagtakip-takip nila kung ano yung dapat nilang takpan. In the meantime, hingi sila na hingi ng budget for air quality monitoring. And yet not a single monitoring station is working. Ang demand po nga po namin ay sana po buksan man lamang at isang monitoring station at sila mismo, sana makita po mismo ng Secretary, at sila mismo magsasalita po yung monitoring station, hey, I have never been calibrated from the time I was installed. Ang sinasabi po ng supplier, yung electrobike, ay yan ho'y na-calibrate during the manufacture of these equipment. True, there must be calibration before during the manufacture. Pero nung dumating po sa Pilipinas, binili ho yan ng daang-daang milyong piso ang halaga. At bibili pa, may nakapila pa ho ng mga ₱250 billion na para bibili pa ng monitoring stations. Walang pinapaliwanag. No market study was even provided just to buy these equipment. Where are the market study? Where are the results of these studies? Have they ever even shown to the public or even publish, ni-record nila na merong totoong lumabas na datos ng air quality? Kaya po medyo nakakasama ng loob kasi nakikita na muna namin ito. I'm sure this is not Department of Mining. This is Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Nauna pa nga ho yung environment eh. So dun ho ang medyo na sumasama ho loob namin. Parang walang attention po dito ho sa air quality monitoring. Nandoon lang po yung mga corrupt people within our department. Nakikita naman po, at alam mo, ang alam ko po rito, si Yusek Valdez ay meron po siyang isang investigative team. May findings na ho, at naguhumindig na yung findings. And yet these people cannot be fired because you have to follow due process. What is due process? If I shoot someone, namatay yung binaril ko, hindi pa ako hulihin ng pulis. Ito, sinasabi na ng makina, mali ang nilalabas. Naghihirap ng taong bayan. Wala silang tinatanggap na tamang data. And yet, mag-a-appeal pa sila during budget deliberation. Hihingi pa ho kami ng bagong monitoring stations na hindi gumagana pa yung mga nabili na nila in the past, hindi pa gumagana. Tapos, bibili pa ng panibago. Okay. Actually, si Ma'am Gina po is a clean air warrior. He was part of the Coalition for Clean Air Advocates before she became secretary. And natuwa nga ho kami at sabi nga namin, uy, meron na kami representative sa loob ng DNR. Kaso po ang nangyari ay, nung ito ho na ireklamo namin, not a single one of the letters I've been sending, nag-reply po at sabihin sa amin, ano po ba ang resulta ng kanilang investigasyon?
Can I interrupt you?
Yes, sir.
Before you continue,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to recognize the presence of Senator Cayetano. Go ahead, please continue.
Salamat po, Your Chair. So, ang ano lang po namin dito ay ipakita lang po na meron damdamin naman po sa may environment. Nandiyan po yung mga kurap sa loob po ng DENR. Kaya lang po, ang si Secretary nangyari, siguro she must have fed the wrong information. She said, all these equipment need to have this calibration. That's precisely the point. They're not calibrated, so they're not working well. Magdududa kayo sa data na ipoproduce nila. So ngayon, nandoon po yung sinasabi namin na may kasalanan. Hindi ba napakadali man lang, kahit man lang isang memo. O sige, we will move these people. Itong mga gumagawa ng korupsyon, kasi yung 20 taong na pinagbibintangan po namin na gumagawa ng kalokohan doon, i-move lang sila pansamantala. Napakahirap po bang gawin yun? I have seen memos being issued to some people within the agency. I-move lang sila para hindi sila makialam doon sa mga anumang aligasyon na binabato sa kanila. So, yun ho ang sana nga that's the reason why we are opposing her confirmation because for allegation ho namin na incompetence. She does not know exactly what environment is all about. I'm not sure if the Secretary is aware about the Clean Air Act. Clean Air Act has been around since 1994. But what about air quality monitoring? Clean Air Act is about clean air, knowing exactly what it's all about. All of us must know exactly the data to guide the local government, to guide the MMDA, to guide you in legislation of the kind of laws that must be put in place to prevent or at least man lang to alleviate the people from environment. Yes, sir.
Your point, because there's a lot of
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oppositors here that we want to hear. So can you wrap up your
Okay.
point?
Our point is we say the Secretary is incompetent sa usapin po ng environment. Kinakailangan po dapat pag-aralan niya ng maigi yung kung ano ang dapat gawin doon. In fact, dapat po sana ay makapag-appoint siya ng mga taong nakakaalam. Hindi po yung kunyari, EMB director natin isang forester. Hindi ho alam ang environment. Meron ho tayong mga undersecretary for environment, perhaps, kinakailangan may konting background man lang. O at least,
Just submit your opposition leaders here in the committee. You will hear that and review that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair,
Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chair, sorry, it's Honorable Chair. Okay, it's the Honorable Chair. I'd like you to know that my passion has and will always be clean air, because you need air to breathe. And cleaning the air is critical even to our economy. I also want you to know, Mr. Honorable Chair, that when the question of the equipment came into being, we had a meeting. I had a meeting within 1 week, and they have done investigations, and so I have the results here of all the investigations. It's not just calibration. because the objective where we want to go is, I want to be able to come up with an air report in ABS and even in the other media stations. But this can't happen if the machines don't tell the truth. And I agree with Mr. Galvez that there have been instances where the machines are saying it's not polluted there. I said, what do you mean? Look at the black air, it's really polluted. So the machines do need fixing, and then we have taken steps. I however, want to say, Mr. Galvez, I've been told that you're in the supply business of the equipment.
No,
and
I'm not
actually
now.
it's, let me
I'm
finish.
sorry po.
And that actually that the air quality monitoring equipment, it's the functionality of your equipment that is being investigated. So I truly hope that you're coming here not because of any business interest. Because that's what the suspicion is that you have an agenda here, and it might even be a business agenda. So just saying it. But sir, Mr. Chairman, I have all the documents here, and I want to assure the committee that I do want to clean the air. And I also want to inform the committee that to do this, we're working together with Department of Transportation. Sir, because 70% of the air pollution is caused by vehicular emission. It's not like in Australia, or in Australia, if you're caught smoke belching, you lose your license. In Japan, you have to pass through the eye of the needle to get renewed. Here in the Philippines, you just pay the bribe, and then and the cars go on the road. So I'm working together with DOTR, and I don't know if Giorgio.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Giorgio.
Senator Soto is recognized.
I pose a question to the oppositor,
To the oppositors,
Mr. Valdez.
can we finish for oppositors first, and then we will proceed
Well,
for...
it's hard to get back to him.
Okay.
Just one question.
Just go ahead.
I'd like to find out from Mr. Valdez, Mr. Chairman, if the Department Secretary Lopez, and her office will directly address these concerns, will he still oppose Secretary Lopez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Reason for opposing again is the issue of incompetence, like the people that
Therefore,
have been,
even if she addresses the concerns, you will still oppose.
at the moment, sir, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez Sapangali.
Thank you. Yes, Senator Garilon is recognized.
Mr. Galvez,
Yes, sir.
Secretary Lopez has asserted that you are a supplier of these machines, and she is investigating the efficiency of the machines. Is that true, that you're the supplier of the machine?
Mr. Chair, no.
You
I'm
are
not.
connected. Sorry. You are connected to other suppliers.
If I say,
You're in the
may-
supply.
Madam Chair.
Sorry.
You're making me confused. So, I just to remind you
I'm sorry.
that wait of my recognition, and then you can talk and go ahead, Senator Garilon, to ask your...
Yes, I'm just concerned about this because this is very crucial to the credibility of the oppositor. If indeed, as asserted, that you supplied or you are connected with the suppliers of these machines, and these machines, according to the secretary, or other machines are being calibrated because they are not up to par, then something is amiss in your position. Is that?
may I reply, Mr. Chair? Yes. Okay. Mr. Chair, I am not a supplier of any monitoring equipment. In fact, I am a provider of free service to government in terms of publishing to the public the real quality of air quality monitoring. Okay, I have done this in the past, like informing the public for free. All I need to do is I need to get the right data. The reason I have not pursued my business in ensuring that
Where do you get that data? Do you have data for that?
Sir,
Do you have data
I have read the EMB NCR report pertaining to the non-functioning of most of these equipment, or all of these equipment for the matter. And ang demand ko lang po naman dito para makapag-provide po ako ng libreng serbisyo ay makuha po ang tamang data. Hindi po alam kung saan po nakuha po ni Madam Secretary ang impormasyon na ako po ay supplier at konektado po ako sa isang supplier.
Madam Secretary, when were these machines acquired by your department?
Before my time, sir. Can I answer?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, before my time. I mean, the machines were bought. I mean, I've only been in DNR for the past 8 months, so it seems strange that I will be accused of doing something which was not even within my time. I was not involved in the purchase of the machines at all. And when I was told that maybe these machines were overpriced, you know, the machines are important to me. I have been told the results of the investigation to be released this week, and we already have preliminary, so we have taken action.
You mentioned that these Mr. Banzon,
Lopez.
I'm sorry, Galvez, was a supplier or connected to a supplier? Did you mention that?
Yes, he does. Your business is for air reporting. Right?
I'm in the business of air quality monitoring billboards.
Yeah, that's his business.
Mr. Chair, sorry.
It's air quality monitoring business. So that and the capability of that is being addressed. In fact, we may not even. Is the REMD person here?
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman, just to follow up on the...
Yes, Senator Nico Pangilinan is recognized.
Just to follow up on that, before we... I have the floor.
Yes,
Thank you.
go ahead.
So this is a follow-up question on the oppositor, Mr. Galvez. So you may not be a supplier, but you have a business interest in materials or equipment that would announce the air quality. Tama po ba yun? And you were saying earlier the reason why you did not go into business, or at least hindi mo inumpisahan, is because precisely of the problem of the equipment or the air monitoring equipment. Is that right?
Mr. Chair, if I may say so, sir, I have an existing contract with the Environmental Management Bureau, NCR, wherein the former Yusek Leones, who was EMB director at the time, signed the contract, that I will be required or allowed to publish to the public the results of air quality monitoring. Now, if I may say so, Mr. Chair, there was actually we're using an existing supplier of monitoring equipment. Sila po yung nag-supply na hindi gumagana, and yet wala pong ginagawa ang DNR tungkol dito. Kaya po yun ang nirereklamo namin. In fact, even with the declaration po. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
no. So you are not a supplier of the monitoring equipment,
Yes, sir.
but you are a potential supplier of the equipment that would announce the results, or the billboards that would be announcing the results of the quality of the air.
I
In
will...
other words, yung mga billboard.
Opo.
So yun ang negosyo mo.
Yes.
Dahil hindi nagagawa yung air monitoring, hindi rin nagagawa yung negosyo mo. Tama ba yun?
Opo, kasi...
Okay. That's all.
Sir, Mr. Chair, can I add something?
I just want to remind everyone, the members, the oppositors, the appointee, that we have so many oppositors here that we want to hear. So can we shorten our position and explain our explanation, and so the members can ask all of them.
Honorable Chair, can I add?
Okay, this go ahead.
The oppositor is in the ad board who wants to use the data with the ads. So what he does is he will sell the ads. That's his business. He won't give it for people, he will sell the ads. So there's a question of why is he, yeah, why is
Mr.
he?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
can we proceed to the next oppositor?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Galvez. Mr. Secretary, could you call the next
Thank you, sir.
Dignity and appointments. I'm Dr. Arcilia. I'm also professor at the National Institute of Biological Sciences. And my opposition is already in front of you. The summary is basically the opposition is conflict of interest. I was a chief scientist appointed by the Makati to take care of the MPIC pipeline leak in 2010. That leaked 3 million liters into the groundwater of Bangkal, the most populated barangay of Makati. And that resulted in the evacuation of 100 families from Last Tower, many of whom haven't come back yet. And I was the one responsible with my team of finding out if it was a pipeline owned by the Lopez family, the first Philippine industrial corporation responsible for the leak. That case also gave rise to the first writ of kalikasan case that was presented to the Supreme Court. And it is the first writ of kalikasan that has been adjudicated by the Supreme Court, and the judgment says here that Respondent FPIC is directed to undertake and continue the remediation, rehabilitation, and restoration of the affected Barangay Bangkal environment until full restoration of the affected area to the condition prior to the leakage. For this purpose, Respondent FPIC must strictly comply with the measures, directives, and permits issued by the DNR for its remediation activities in Barangay Bangkal, including but not limited to the wastewater discharge. The DNR has the authority to oversee and supervise the aforesaid activities on the said affected barangay. FPIC has actually done remediation. They have done a pretty good job. And now, my opposition to Secretary Lopez is that it's not because she's part of the Lopez family, but she's now the DNR secretary charged to look at this very, very serious environmental disaster. I call it disaster. The secretary has said that water is life. She said that she wants no suffering. I have seen the 100 families, but I haven't seen the secretary visit Makati. She has been to all over the Philippines closing mines, but Bangkal is just a short distance away, and they have told me they haven't even met her after she's been appointed as a secretary. So this is one of the issues here. Why be selective in closing this issue when in fact the DNR is actually mandated to take care of this issue? That's the first. And the second one came up from the presentation of Secretary Lopez herself, because he mentioned that open pit mining in watershed areas should not be allowed. It so happens that there is an open pit company that's mining aggregates in a watershed in Lobo, in exactly the place where below it is the biodiversity capital of the world. That is called the first Balfour aggregate company. It's owned by the Lopez's. It's mining open pit style in a watershed. But then the mine that's behind it, or a little below it, MRL, was closed because it's in a watershed. They are all in a watershed. And with due respect, Secretary, your definition of watershed is not entirely accurate. I can say this to a professor, even the definition of a water table. The water table is beneath it. And also another point of contention, mining occurs only in 2% of the country. 2%. So what is the big deal? Of course, we have to look at the pollution in the 2%. But the really big problem, and I agree with that this is the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, it's not just mining. And I will be the first one, beside Secretary Lopez, to close area mines, because there are area mines. I'm not against environment, and this is one of the. I do not teach my students to rape the environment. We teach them to protect the environment. So basically, I rest my opposition on those two clear cases of conflict of interest, which have personal knowledge.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you like to respond?
Yes, Honorable Chairman, I would like to respond. First of all, the Balfour incident was addressed long before I became DNR Secretary. And it's, I mean, the Balfour, in the one in Makati, the Bangkal, sorry. The Bangkal incident I should talk to you. The Bangkal incident has been addressed long before I became DNR Secretary. It's finished. No? My family spent $1.5 million, and the oppositor himself agrees it was a job well done. So it's finished, you know. I have so many things to do, so I can't check everything. Number two, if my family has been found remiss in the environment, they will be asked to comply, and they're fully aware of that. There's no sacred cow here. I have agreed to the President to serve my country and to serve the people. And I will do it in the most sincere way that I can, abiding by the highest principles. Which means that if any member of my family or any institution violates environmental laws, they will be meted and be treated just like everybody else. That's the right thing to do, and they're fully aware of that stand, and they support it. Number three, I question this thing of open pit mining in. Okay, I have a question here. Is that, sir, you are also, I was also told that Mr. Arcilla is a consultant for Mark Ventures and the MCI and Century Peak. So I've seen him in a lot of mining seminars. And so he just wants me to visit Bangkal. How about his areas there? Anyway, so I'm not in favor of any open pit in watersheds, and that decision is solid and non-negotiable. What else can I say? You can't open pit mine in watershed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Yes, the oppositor is recognized. The oppositor is recognized.
All right. I'd like to answer the situation in Bangkal is not yet finished. There's still a lot of pollution on the water. That's the reason, and Makati has not issued a certification for the people to return there. In fact, if there are people staying in West Tower, they're doing it because they have nowhere else to go. I say this because I was the one moderating. I was actually checking the work of FPIC. And I agree that FPIC has done a good. But here, we're not talking, Madam Secretary, of the Lopez family. We're talking of your position as Secretary of the DNR, which has been mandated by the Supreme Court to actually be on top of this. And I'm the amicus curiae of the Supreme Court on this matter. It's not finished yet. So that's one case. And second, first Balfour is doing open pit mining. I'm not against open pit mining. If we stop open pit mining, according to the Secretary's definition, we will stop all quarries. If we stop all quarries, all construction in this country will stop. There is no quarry that is not an open pit mine. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, with all due respect, Madam Secretary, I'm not saying competence. Your definitions are simply wrong. And I say this as a professor. If you say, okay, stop open pit mining in watersheds, you stop Holcim, Lafarge, you stop Balfour, absolutely all the quarries, be consistent. And if that's the case, will the country allow no construction? Because where will we get the buhangin, the cemento, the graba. So this is one of the problems when we have such simplistic, policies. No? And even, thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is recognized.
Magandang tanghali po, Madam Secretary. Hindi po ako oppositor, katabi ko lang po yung oppositor. Just one manifestation and then one clarification. The manifestation, I think it is very good that we are all being honest here, and if there are any conflict of interest, it is being discussed openly, no? But may I also clarify that being in the business, being a consultant, is also a plus for the oppositor or for the secretary, because if we're going to disqualify everyone here who is either in the business or has anything to know about mining, we will have witnesses who do not have conflict of interest, but who do not know anything about geology, mining, etc. No? So I welcome it, Madam Secretary, when we say na you're in this and that, etc. But for the public at lahat nandito, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're incompetent or they should not testify, because precisely that's their expertise. May clarification lang, ma'am. What about the Lobo allegation? So is there such a company? Is it really a watershed, and is it really operating and it was not included in those closures? That's my question.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chairman, can I answer?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Balfour has no MPSA. There's no MPSA. There's no MPSA.
So, Mr. Chair,
It's not operational. There's no MPSA.
So, Mr. Chair, maybe clarify what's the status? So there is a company there, and it is on a watershed, except that it is not operational and there's no MPSA. Is that correct? I just want to know the status so that I can compare it with the statement of the oppositor.
Yes, please, Madam Secretary, can you answer that
I'm sorry.
question?
Yes, Balfour has not commenced. They were not given. They were not given permits by DNR. There's no activity for the past 5 months. Whatever, I give my commitment to the honorable body. I'm non-negotiable on this time. There should not be any extractive activity within watersheds. I have been told that there's no MPSA, and if there has been, and it's I will immediately do show cause for that also. There's no sacred cow here. There should be no extractive or anything putting at risk the ecology in watershed areas, which puts at risk our water supply. That's my
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Madam
Mr. Chair,
Secretary.
may I just I'd just like to be
Senator
fully...
Alan
Yes.
Peter Cayetano is
Sorry,
recognized.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Chair, I'd just like to be fully clarified on that, because the no sacred cows is a general statement.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, and I agree with you. And so far, absent the statement of the oppositor, so far you've showed that, diba, with the number of closure orders, audit, etc. But precisely what the oppositor is now saying is that there is one sacred cow, which is in Lobo. So you said that it has not been operating the last 5 months. So does that mean that it was operating, and then is construction proceeding there? Or meaning, Mr. Chair, if they are on the watershed and they did not get the same kind of closure order that the others that were in the waiting shed, watershed got, then in fact they are a sacred cow. Because somehow DNR, maybe not because of the office of the secretary, maybe people under you, passed over it. So maybe not to prolong, Mr. Chair, unless we're voting today, they can give us a full briefing or the papers and...
No, we're not voting
Yes,
today because
If we're not, may I be clarified further at a later time or regarding that? And from both sides, no, from the oppositor and from the DNR. But may I just ask that question? Is it true that construction is continuing and is being done as we speak in that the power plant?
Can I?
First ball for
I was just given the report, there's no construction, there's
Okay.
site preparation, there's no permit, and they're just keeping the place clean. And but there's no MPSA. There's no, you said IPAT, they couldn't do anything because there are no permits. You said IPAT is my esteemed, you said for legal. The MPSA is under, sorry, MRL. There's no relation to Balfour. Okay, the MPSA is under MRL, which is a different company, but there's no relation to Balfour whatsoever. Sir, I totally agree with you with what you said about
So there is a MPSA.
No, none.
None?
The MPSA is to MRL, which is a different company, but not to Balfour.
Mr. Chair, it's like this. This is
Go ahead.
it's a question of fact. The fact is, there is a company called First Balfour and they're mining aggregates in Lobo. That, it's even in their website. You can check the website right now, okay? Second, it's in a watershed because everything is in a watershed. Even this building is in a watershed. What you need to distinguish are what we call proclaimed or critical watershed. So when you say no mining in the watershed, we will kill the economy because there will be no construction. How will we get all of the raw materials? This is what I'm saying. And the issue of competence. How can you have a blanket definition of something that you don't understand?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sir, I never said that you shouldn't quarry, no. I do accept that my definition of open pit mining is the use of explosives, where you do an open pit and you hit a water table, and the aquifer that you go to the people goes in fact to an open pit. Clearly we need quarrying.
Thank you.
I come from a business family, you need to quarry. But we should just not do it within a watershed because you will affect the lives of millions of people.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And may we call now.
Just a last point, Mr. Chair. Madam Secretary, I was telling Senator Recto, I feel your passion, when you were speaking and everything. And, this is all about a balance. But I just heard you say that that's not your definition of open pit mining. And I will have a problem with that because there is an internationally accepted scientific definition for open pit mining. And everyone knows that, for example, cement. When you get cement, that's open pit mining. So if the Secretary and the DNR are now going to say that we're going to have our own definitions different from the definitions of the industry or experts, how will we now, when we go to court or when we go to the committee or they do the appeal, how can we now talk apples to apples? No? So meaning, Mr. Chair, hindi po pwedeng iba definition nila sa open pit mining, iba definition ng industry, iba definition ng CA. Hindi tayo magkakaintindihan. But I was surprised because nga Holcim moved to the city of Taguig. And when I learned about the ban on mining sa Davao, I learned that in the past, hindi na pinadagdagan ni Mayor Duterte, but dun sa cement, because doble, triple ang presyo ng semento sa buong Mindanao, kung isasara yung mga cement operations sa Mindanao, but this is open pit mining. Open pit siya. No? So, I get what you're trying to say, Madam Secretary. No? You're trying to measure the damage to the environment. But we cannot have different terms and then agree. I think we should all, so is it or is it not? So like quarrying, cement mining, are these all open pit, diba?
Thank you.
Sir, I will admit I am accessing the consultancy of Leo Gesereno. He's been 38 years in the industry, and I would presume that his definition of open pit is probably what runs in the industry. So, oak quarry is surface mining. It's surface, you're getting the surface. An open pit looks like a cone. You do explosives and you want the minerals underground. When you do the surface, surface mining is you take away the trees and then because you need the lime. And what I'm saying is that in a watershed, you do explosives which look like a cone. An open pit is like a cone, and then you hit the water table there. That's not acceptable in a watershed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Senator Pinglak,
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. We've been talking of MPSA, but to us, we who are not involved in the mining business, we do not know what MPSA means. It's mining mineral production sharing agreement, but
Yes.
why or how do you approve or disapprove such? Is that a permit?
Yes. It's a permit, sir.
Pardon the naivete, no?
That's
But,
okay. I'm also.
yeah, please educate us, ano?
Yeah.
Kasi hindi namin alam kung paano nakukuha, anong requirements,
Yes.
and why would you approve or disapprove an MPSA?
An MPSA is a mineral product sharing agreement, and it's an agreement with the state, with the country that they can mine the area. So they do exploration, and then when they see that there are mineral deposits and it's good business to mine, then the state grants them an MPSA, which is an agreement for them to mine to get the mineral deposits.
How does one get qualified or disqualified in getting MPSA from DNR?
They apply, and then we investigate on the parameters
What
of
are the requirements? Ma'am?
Yes, on the environment being a key facet of that. And I have just recently made a policy in DNR that no MPSA should ever be given in watershed areas because of the effect of the mining on the water supply of our people.
Thank you,
So, what are the requirements for applying for an MPSA? What would disqualify you from getting an MPSA, and what would qualify you from getting an MPSA?
Well, they need to. First, I think they should explore, no? To see if it's a good business deal for them, and then if they apply, and then we decide on the parameters on which an MPSA should run. The mining company should run.
I don't think I'm getting the correct response.
There is criteria on which a mine should it operate. And these criteria are listed in the rules and regulations of MPSAs. When the application to run an MPSA is given,
Madam
then-
Secretary, the question is what are the requirements to get the MPSA or to
Mr. Chairman, ang question ko po is also a test of competence.
yes,
Being the DNR Secretary, we would like to find out if the Secretary is competent enough to know and to tell us kung ano ba yung
what is MPSA,
Yeah,
what is
requirements,
the requirements?
So can I answer?
Okay, go ahead, Madam Secretary.
I'm going to be honest and admit that I'm literature and psychology and philosophy. I'm going to be really honest, but I love the environment.
We understand,
I have 20, 30 years doing development work, so I'm really not a minor. Okay, but I have consultants, and this is what they tell me. Okay, so these are the mandatory requirements for MPSA. For an individual, there has to be a location map sketch plan of the proposed contract. There has to be a 3-year development utilization work program. There has to be proof of technical competence. There has to be proof of financial capability. There has to be a mining project feasibility study. It's long. I mean, this whole book is there. I don't know it by heart, and nor can I claim the arrogance of knowing it by heart. But I have people who I trust, and then they will advise me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, I just want to
Thank
say.
you. Thank you, yes, Congresswoman,
Salimbangon.
Madam Chairman, Madam Secretary, the MPSA, is it a license or a permit coming from the government, or is it an agreement or a contract?
It's a contract. Okay, it's a mining contract between the government and the mining company. I'm sorry, I will admit I'm really not a technical person at all, In fact, I find, but that's why I have people who I trust. I mean, it takes, when you want to make a difference, you get my skills are different, no? And so you put that, if you will question my technical ability on mining, I'm gonna fail dismally because I'm really not a technical person. I just wanted to, yeah.
Maybe you can ask help in answering the question. If it is a contract or an agreement, what are the basis for canceling or terminating this contract or agreement?
Okay, I can answer that.
Yes.
Okay, so in the Mining Act, as I had said there before, that the mandate of DNR is to maneuver the resources, not in the exact words, no, is to maneuver the resources of the country such that it doesn't impinge on the quality of life of present and future generations. That's the mandate of DNR.
Madam,
I have the grounds here, sir. And these are the grounds for cancellation.
excuse me, Madam Secretary. The chair would like to be clarified on your statement that you're not technically prepared.
Yes.
And that the issue now raised by Congresswoman Sato is that as if you issued an order based on the cancellation order based on the recommendation of your staff?
No, I issued an order, a show cause, for 75 MPSAs because they are in watersheds. And they're not all proclaimed watersheds, I will agree, but a watershed is a watershed is a watershed. And the law does not make a watershed a watershed. A watershed is a watershed because it functions as a watershed and it supports life. And to do any kind of extractive industry near rivers and streams will affect human life there.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I hear another outburst from the gallery, I will have them removed by the sergeant at arms. I will move that everybody be removed from the hall.
Everybody is reminded to please refrain from reacting for any
Mr. Chairman, the reaction
Uh,
from the
yes.
galleries, particularly from the same area, and I think it's aimed to belittle or distract the nominee.
Yes, we are now warning them. No? So there be any reaction again, then we will advise the Secretary General to escort them outside. Please, Congresswoman Sato.
Yes. So what are the grounds for the cancellation of MPSA?
I have it here. So the grounds for can I answer?
Please proceed.
So the grounds for canceling an MPSA are the non-filling of requirements, the violation of the terms and conditions of permits of agreement, the non-payment of taxes, the suspension or cancellation of tax incentives, the falsehood or omission of facts.
But there is a formal proceedings before an MPSA is cancelled. So as, to prove that all these violations were committed, is that correct?
Yes, and I have followed that. So actually, the MPSAs are not yet cancelled because the procedure is that you give show cause, and then based on that show cause, they can then appeal to the president, and then only when the president makes a decision is it final and executory. But I had started it, and the basis of the cancellation is what's written in the Mining Act, in that it is the duty of DNR to maneuver the resources of this country such that it doesn't affect the quality of life of our people. That's the backing I have from the law.
Mr. Chairman, do I understand that these 75 MPSAs are not yet cancelled? So what is the status of these 75 MPSAs?
I gave a show cause, ma'am. So you give a show cause, and then if they don't give an appeal, then it's cancelled. Right. But then if they appeal, show cause, then they will comment, and then it's fine. Okay, so we give show cause, and then they have to answer, because I will say this is the reason why we're cancelling the MPSA, and then they will comment on that, and then based on their comment, then the decision is made. And then we can appeal to the president. And then even after I decide, they can appeal to the president. When the president decides, then it's final and executory.
So there is no formal hearing?
No, that's not necessary to have a formal hearing.
Okay. Ma'am, I would just also want to be educated because we're talking about watersheds here.
Yes.
What is stated in the law? That we cannot mine in any and all watersheds. Does the law state that we cannot mine only in declared watersheds or critical watersheds? So can you please educate me on this?
The law specifically says that there should be no mining in critical watersheds. However, as DNR Secretary, I have the prerogative to make decisions on whether there should be mining in watersheds at all, whether they are proclaimed or not. It is totally within my mandate.
So even if the law specifically states that you cannot mine only in proclaimed and critical watersheds, the Secretary of Environment and Natural Resources can motu proprio decide and cancel mining operations in all watersheds.
In all watersheds, yes, that's correct.
So aren't we violating the law here?
No, because I can. I mean, it's totally within my mandate. It's written in the Mining Act to take care of the country's resources such that it doesn't adversely affect human life. It's totally within my mandate. It's my duty and obligation to make sure that the resources of this country are not utilized in a way that benefits our communities.
Ma'am, as I've said, I admire your passion to protect the environment, and I share that passion.
Yes.
My concern is the law. I mean, being lawmakers here, we would want to know
I understand.
the definition of a critical and proclaimed watershed. Because if there is something lacking in the law, then we should file a bill or a law, pass a law to declare all watersheds as that no mining activities can be conducted in all watersheds, because I believe that we have to follow what is stated in the law.
Can I answer? Okay, within my mandate as DNR Secretary, it is in my mandate to institute certain policies.
Congressman, with your permission, just one question, Madam Secretary. Is, obviously there's a standard. You cannot mine in critical and proclaim watersheds.
Yes,
That is the standard imposed by law.
yes.
Now, is there a definition of what is critical? Or is that left to your discretion?
The president proclaims. Okay, the law does not say, again, can I repeat that? The law does not say that only, it's a bit of a gray area here, but the law does not say that only critical areas are no-go. It doesn't say that.
What does it say, ma'am?
It says that we should not mine, that it says that critical watersheds are no-go areas. But it doesn't stop the DNR secretary from saying, making a policy that if it's a watershed and human life depends on it, and there are communities that depend on it, there should be no mining
That's
there.
where maybe you cannot get an agreement from many legislators, because the law says critical. And therefore that is the standard imposed on the secretary and on the DNR, that the watershed must be critical in order that mining will be prohibited. We cannot just say that, we have the mandate to ban everything. That is where probably you should make a fine distinction and definition of your power to cancel MPSA.
Sir, I will read to you the law.
Mr. Chairman, related to the question of Senator Drilon and Congresswoman Masato.
Before I recognize Senator Lacson, before you proceed, I just to remind everyone, the members, the oppositors, the appointee, that before you speak, please ask permission to the chair to be recognized. Thank you.
My question is, and I would like to address this to the Secretary, who makes the proclamation that a watershed is critical? Is it the President? Must there be a presidential proclamation that such a watershed is critical?
Yes, there was an executive order proclaiming.
No, on a case-to-case basis?
There was an executive order proclaiming 143 critical watersheds, and these areas are clearly no-go zones. I just want to read to the esteemed body the Mining Act again, if I may, sir, if I may, of 1995. That this is a policy, this is the Act of 1995. We will enhance national growth in a way that effectively safeguards the environment and protects the rights of the affected community. It's in the Mining Act. And then in Section 8, it says the department, DNR, shall be the primary government agency responsible, and I can underline that, responsible for the conservation, management, development, and proper, and I want to underline again, proper use of the state's mineral resources, including those in watersheds, reservations, and lands of the public domain. Then after that, the Mining Act goes on to say, DNR shall adhere to the principle of sustainable development, which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs, with the view of improving the total quality of life both now and in the future.
Excuse me, Madam Secretary, before you continue, I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Ligarta.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, can I address?
Yes, the leader is recognized.
Yes, due to the lateness of the hour, and I don't think we'll go, we can achieve anything more. There are a lot of oppositors. I don't think we can decide on the confirmation of the secretary now. The hour is late. We are supposed to have our plenary at 1 p.m. I therefore move that we suspend the hearings for tomorrow, if necessary, or Monday, for example.
Yes, we will suspend today and we will continue tomorrow because
That was the pressure of the
to be fair to everyone, both sides, we want to hear the oppositors, not all the oppositors, to be fair.
Tomorrow is Thursday. So do we have a hearing tomorrow, or can we suspend until Monday or Tuesday?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
She's leaving on March 10 to for the US.
Sir, I have a trip that's been planned like 6 months ago already. Because originally the Commission on Appointments hearing was supposed to be March 1, and then as everything is so unpredictable, that was moved. But I've already planned this trip. It will be very difficult for me to shift it. So if I
There's tomorrow there's one minute recess, 1 minute recess.
Mr. Chairman, baka bukas kasi mag-uwi sa mga minahan nila yung mga congressmen.
Sir, Chairman, can I say something?
Di ba, sarado naman, Senator Ping, sarado naman.
Sir,
Suspended tayo, so
can I say something, sir?
suspended ang meeting.
May blue ribbon bukas ang Senate. May blue ribbon na Senate bukas. Hindi bypass.
We had more than 30 oppositors. And some of them I batched together, similar oppositions on certain issues. So I heard them. So I don't know, it's really up to the discretion of the chairman how to do it. But after 1 or 2 hearings, I think that I was eventually able to sponsor his confirmation. And despite at the time what was considered an uphill battle and a controversial appointment of then President Estrada, I, who was in the minority, sponsored the cabinet member. But what I'm saying is that we were able to batch together those similarly situated in terms of the topics of the opposition. Only a suggestion, but I leave it to the discretion of the chairman.
Yes, we can do that, but still there's a lot. I mean, you cannot finish this today, or even tomorrow. It's hard to finish it. Suspended naman yan.
Mr. Chairman, suspended naman.
Suspended naman.
21 oppositors. Pangalawa pa lang to. 19 to go. So kahit bukas, kahit mag-Friday pa tayo, talagang hindi matatapos. If we want to give a fair chance to all oppositors, which we should. Pwede bukas ulit. But if we want that
For hearing either tomorrow, Monday, just set it for hearing.
Okay.
So can we resume?
Okay, session is resumed.
Okay. Then I have a motion to suspend since the reality is we cannot finish the hearing and it is already late. It's 12:35. We're supposed to have our plenary at 1 p.m. So I move that we suspend the hearings now and resume at either tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday. We can put that to a vote if you're going to decide as to when the next hearing will be. But first, we move to suspend, if that's in order.
There is a motion to suspend the session if there's any objection.
Right. So we
Then
suspend.
the hearing is suspended.
Okay, now we decide now when is the next day for the hearing. Well, the other conference says Monday. Tuesday.
The secretary has she has an appointment on Friday. March 10, yes, Friday. And
Is that a, Madam Secretary, you are leaving on Friday. May I suggest that you give the hearings of the CA priority?
Anyway, I'm leaving at night, so you want to meet in the morning?
What about the Monday or Tuesday next week? Because, you know, to require the members of the Senate to be here on a Friday afternoon, it's a little difficult. I mean, being realistic.
To be fair, unfair to the secretary, in-inform tayo ahead of time. Since last month, in-inform tayo of her schedule. So, hindi naman natin pwedeng maano. Tomorrow.
What, you don't want to meet on May? Because sir, if we do it on yeah, because this is my suggestion. This is just a suggestion, and you can decide. Because I'm proposing here a possibility of area development, and which might even get our country out of poverty, and a way to use our agricultural resources to benefit our people. What if? Because if we do it on May, from now to May, I'll be able to. Sorry, I can't think of another name for it, but kick ass. I'll be able to do something, and I would like to invite the members of the Commission on Appointments, for example, to go to Zambales, and then to see what we can do in Dinagat. So
Yes,
that
no one can interject because this we are
Yes, question, Mr. Chairman. If you schedule tomorrow, do you think we can vote tomorrow or not? No, so it's just a hearing to hear the oppositors. Then I have no objections on conducting a hearing tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow then.
we will.
no plenary tomorrow. Just we want to hear more oppositors. Para mabawasan lang yung mga oppositors kasi hindi matatapos yan bukas, marami pang discussion na mangyayari dyan.
We have to resume.
Yes, Senator Lorenzo is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the recommendation. There is a request from the Secretary that we continue hearings on May. We have barely a week to go until Congress will be on break. We only have it until the 15th. We may not also finish it by tomorrow anyway. So we will call on the oppositors tomorrow. And the Secretary will be present as well to respond to the oppositors.